What's up, guys? Lately, a lot of people have been asking me about what add-on this is. So if you see, we have a UI that you see a lot in my videos, which is the TradeSkillMaster add-on UI. This is the most powerful gold making add-on ever. It's the bread and butter. It's the absolute most important tool to learn if you're going to want to do gold making. In this video, we'll tackle sort of the main things you need to use it for Classic. There are some significant differences between Classic and Retail. So this is Classic. Cataclysm, Season of Discovery, it's the same principles. Completely similar. Because the auction house is the same, essentially. There's different items that you're going to focus on, but outside of that, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The first thing, and the most simple to use, like this is useful for pretty much everyone, is the ToolTip. It overhauls the ToolTip. It adds pricing information, which can include a bunch of different things. You can customize this. It is how many items you have, data from what sales and purchases you've done, the current value of an item, and you can even have the crafting cost if it's a crafted item. Very, very useful. But that's not why this is the most powerful add-on ever for gold making reasons. The main reason why it's so powerful is because you can use this to post 100 items in less than 5 minutes using the auctioning feature. So how this works is that you will make a group of items. If I open my main TSM windows, you can see that I have a ton of different groups for different items. And then for those items, you apply one or more auctioning operations, which include all of the rules for like how are you going to post this item to the auction house? What are the prices? How many should I post? What stack sizes? And the really nice thing about these operations is that you can even use dynamic pricing. So instead of like saying 10 gold, you can say 10 gold if you want, but you can also set the minimum price to this, 120% crafting. That means it's going to post it for at least 20% more than the crafting cost of an item, which means that I can use this this operation for an absolutely huge number of items, or rather this one, which is the exact same. This one is applied to tons of different groups, and it posts one item, or it posts one auction with one item in it for 12 hours for at least 20% of the crafting cost. I use this for gear, gems, enchants, anything that you want to sell in stacks of one. This is perfect. The maximum price is the maximum price you want to post at, and then the normal price is if there's nothing else on the auction house. And that's sort of it. Then I have a bunch of different operations here with different post caps and stack sizes. So like this 2x20, which posts 2 stacks of 20, is useful for materials, feast, food, anything that you want to sell in large quantities. And then you have something like 2 times 5, which is a lot of different items that you may want to sell in stacks of 5, etc. But for the most part, this one right here, 1-1, 120% crafting, 12 hours. This is super useful. I use this for probably 90% of the stuff I post on the auction house. Extremely useful. Now, all of this is exactly the same in Season of Discovery and Cataclysm. The auction house functions the same. So you want to set this stack size set this based on how many items people want to buy. So an example from Season of Discovery is all of the turn-ins for the supply boxes. You want to sell in stacks exactly the same amount that they need for the supply box. So if they need 5 of something, then you want to post stacks of 5, and you can post more. But it's very, very useful. Now, the other thing you can do is, obviously, we've already seen that the auction house, or not the auction house, the profession window has been changed here. And this button right here is also very, very powerful. Restock groups, it will now make a list here, queue up all of the items that I want to craft, based on some rules that I've set ahead of time. This we do in a crafting operation, which is essentially a rule for how many items to craft and the minimum profit you want to have before you craft it. Here we can see a simple rule for something like gear restocking, where you want to craft 1 item of every profitable recipe you have. And then you can set the minimum profit to something that you find reasonable. You can do 20, 25, 30, whatever. And then obviously we're still using crafting, which is just the crafting cost of an item. Once you've done that, and you have a group of an item type, then you can click restock, and it'll add the list of items here. And if you go to the task list, which I have here, you get the shopping list of all the materials you need. When I open the auction house window and go to the shopping, then it'll start searching for the materials I need, and I can buy them out. Then I can do this, and then I can pause and I can buy the volatile earth. And then once I've done that, I run out to the mailbox and craft the items. This is extremely, extremely good. Now, if you don't want to set up all of these operations, if you think we're not going to go like in depth on how to set this up, but there is a feature to just import settings. If you click this and you get an import string from someone, then you can get someone else's setup. On all of my blog posts for specific markets, I post my a TSM group for that specific item type. If you want to get this full thing that I have here, you can get my full Cataclysm groups, full Season of Discovery groups. Then you can subscribe to the Patreon. There's a link in the video description. And you get everything. I still post most of it eventually once I cover specific markets with my videos. But if you want to get it right away, everything, then that's the place to do it. So yeah, those are the basics. Those are sort of the most important things to understand. You want the group items that you want to treat the same way. And when you're making groups, you can just add stuff from your bags, or you can go to the base group here and you can search for them. So if you wanted to add like the Vicious PvP set, you could search for Vicious here, and we can see that I haven't added the Vicious inscription groups to anything yet. And then I would scroll down, and we can see that these should be in my inscription group. So I have an inscription group here, and they should actually be in that subgroup. And then you click Move Group. So it's pretty simple. If you want to make a new group, then you just click plus here, and then you give it a name and start adding items and start adding operations. Now, obviously, there's tons of nuance in pricing and all of that jazz that we're not going to cover, but this is sort of like, this is the most powerful add-on to get your hands on. And utilizing these, you're going to be 10, 20, 30 times more efficient than someone who doesn't use this. There is really no replacement for this add-on. It is, yeah, it's so good that people routinely post on the forum wanting to get it banned. It does not break the terms of service, but yeah, it's good, guys. It's really good.